welcome to Hispanic Voices of Nashville, an intergenerational panel offering stories of wisdom and hope brought to you by 50 Forward. I'm Kelsey Mahaffey, the All of Us Project Director for 50 Forward, located in Nashville, Tennessee, which is a national community engagement partner for the All of Us Research Program. Founded in 1956, 50 Forward supports, champions, and enhances life for those 50 and over, and serves close to 20,000 older adults annually through a wide variety of programs and services. To learn more about who we are and what we do, please visit our website at 50forward.org. Today's webinar offers viewers the chance to learn about the lives and experiences from some of the most outstanding Hispanic leaders in our Nashville community. This event is brought to you by the Dove Committee at 50 Forward, which stands for Diversity, Opportunity, Vision, and Equity. We are delighted that you have joined us for this special event, and we hope you will be inspired to take action in a way that uplifts and advances our community. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator, Edgar Hilrico, Director for Innovation at the National Alliance for Hispanic Health, which is a fellow National Community Engagement Partner with the All of Us Research Program. Originally from Bogota, Colombia, Edgar leads efforts to improve health outcomes for Hispanic communities in the areas of non-communicable diseases, physical activity, nutrition, and environmental health in the United States as well as Latin America. So, bienvenidos, Edgar.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction, for the invitation, 50 Forward, for celebrating with us Hispanic Heritage Month. This intergenerational panel conversation is going to be fantastic. We have a very select group of representatives from our community that is going to join us today. And just a little bit of information for all of you. We have been celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month since 1968. It is a month between mid-September to mid-October where we bring our history, our culture, our contribution to the society, and we celebrate that we are here, that we are helping to improve the lives of everybody around us. In case you didn't know, the latest census data already shows that Hispanics are the second largest group in the United States, more than 18% of the total population. We hail from everywhere. We are all descendants from Spain, all 17 South American and Central American countries. We can identify as Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican. But it's such a rich and diverse community that this is a month to learn about us, to interact with us, to enjoy our music, our party, our food, our conversation. You can find us anywhere in the United States. You can find us serving tables in New York. You can find us walking the red carpet in Hollywood, and you will see our elected officials representing us in Congress. So it is a rich community that is here to improve and to better the society that we have. Here in Tennessee, Tennessee is called home by more than 350,000 Hispanics, roughly 5% of the total population of the state. And because we say 5%, then we invited 5 panelists today. Our panelists include representatives from the healthcare, the arts, advocacy, and social services. They are going to share their perspectives of being Hispanics in Tennessee. And we are also going to hear about something that I feel that we're not represented in all. We're good in arts, politics, music, you name it, we're there. But it is health research. Health research is one of those areas in which we are not being represented. And if we don't participate, we won't learn about our health. We won't learn about what affects us more than other groups. And here is an opportunity with the All of Us Research Program to be part of this. And I know 50 Forward has been working a lot in this area. And today we're also going to remind you guys, it's time to join, it's time to be part of all of us. So now, after that brief introduction of what Hispanic Heritage Month is and our community in this country, let me introduce our panelists. And I'm going to start with Adriana. Adriana de Leon was born in Pinotepa de Don Luis. It is a small town in coastal Oaxaca in Mexico. She moved here 32 years ago and got to Nashville in 2003. Adriana went to community college, Volunteer State, where she learned business and commerce. Then she went to Tennessee State University, where she got her bachelor's in business administration. As a Mexican woman who was once new in this country, she understands the challenges that recently arrived immigrants face. This inspired her to be a resource for the community, and it is the reason why she joined Conexión Americas in October 2005, and is the Economic Prosperity Manager. What a cool title to have, Economic Prosperity Manager. Adriana, looking forward to a conversation. Then we have Jairo. Hey, come on, a fellow Colombian. Jairo has lived and worked as a visual artist in Nashville since 1984, creating commissioning work and exhibiting nationally and internationally. His work can be found in multiple public and private collections, including the Millennium Collection at the Tennessee State Museum and Nashville Music City Center. So probably some of you have seen his work around. His work collaboration with universities, community organizations, and art institutes in the community focuses on celebrating the history, culture, and creative expression of those who live in this city. Those collaborative opportunities encourage cultural unity and community transformation through the arts. So I'm so happy that Jairo is joining us today. There is nothing more than arts, music, painting that soothes your soul and makes you happy, like my painting behind me. Mónica Reina, originally from Monterrey, Mexico. She came to the United States in 2015 with her family to start a new life. Mónica has a Bachelor in Science and Education from the University of Monterrey, and is a graduate of My City Academy of the New American Community in Nashville. Mónica has a background in early childhood education. In Monterrey, Mónica taught classes in preschool to 7th grade. Amazing. I love teachers, and I know the hard work that it is to take our kids and educate them. So thank you so much, Mónica, for that. Her career in education lasted 12 years. Now, as a program director of the Hispanic Family Foundation since 2017, Mónica oversees programming and special events and handles partner relations with many other social services agencies, because through partnerships is that we can advance. Presently, she's the board member of the YMCA, the chair of the Tennessee League Center, and hosts the radio show Cara a Cara con la Comunidad. Claudia, another fellow Colombia, I just have to say, I'm biased here because I have so many people from my country represented. So Claudia is the community engagement manager for the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center. In her role, Claudia works to enhance the use of evidence-based strategies to increase knowledge and engagement in cancer prevention, early detection, screening, and clinical trial participation. That way, we can reduce cancer risk and cancer disparity among African Americans, Latino, and rural populations. Since 1996, Claudia has been instrumental in helping achieve the mission of organizations interested in addressing the health needs of diverse populations in Oklahoma and Tennessee. Truth to be told, I know Claudia since she was in Oklahoma, and I have been following her to Tennessee, and I'm so glad that she's here today. Her work includes helping leverage resources available through collaborative partnerships, maximize community benefits, minimize cost, and conduct prevention and education programs in Spanish. Claudia, as you see her here, she's also from Colombia, and she has a bachelor's degree in computer engineering. And last but not least, we have Ada Suarez-Blash. Ada, she has been the care manager coordinator for the 54 World Living at Home program since 2019. She earned her bachelor in social work from Belmont University in Nashville and her master's in social work from Fordham University, New York. She's very proud of her Latino heritage roots from the Dominican Republic and Spain. She spent lots of time around different generations of family members, and she holds a special place in her heart for older adults. She's married with 3 children, and she loves playing sports and going outdoors. So now, to start this fantastic panel today, I'm going to start with a question for all of you. And I want you to tell us something about yourself that I didn't mention in your bio. And just to ease it, I'm going to start by myself. I love bicycles. I think that bicycles are the greatest invention on the planet. I ride my bicycle everywhere. And it gives me that freedom that if I cannot afford a car, if I don't have a driver license, if I don't have somebody to take me a place, I can always jump on my bike and go on my own. So that freedom is something that I don't change for anything. So let's see, who wants to be first? I see Claudia raising her hand.
Good morning, Jairo. Buenos días a todos. Gracias por acompañarnos hoy. Estoy muy contenta. Gracias por comenzar con montar en bicicleta, ride bicycle. I think I have to share that inspired by Edgar. I have been able to start riding my bike with my husband, and I'm already riding 5 miles, which is a lot. So thank you very much. It is an honor for me to be here with this distinguished group of panelists, such as wonderful people helping the community in Nashville. Muchas gracias a 50 Forward for inviting me and for organizing this wonderful event to celebrate the Hispanic heritage. As Edgar said, my name is Claudia Moraes and I work at the Cancer Center. And the main job that I do is to connect the organizations, the community organizations with the Latino community in Tennessee. And also I work extensively with the African American and the rural populations that are the populations more disproportionately affected by the difference in treatment and access to healthcare in Tennessee, and I will say in all United States. I am originally from Colombia. As Edgar said, I graduated with a computer engineering degree and I moved to the United States after I graduated 32 years ago. And shortly after I moved, I had an experience by myself that made me think about the differences in the healthcare system in the United States. I was ready to deliver my first child in a hospital in Troy, Ohio. And due to the need of the stress created by not being able to speak the language and not to be able to communicate and know what is happening with my child, my labor took 24 hours and I was never offered to receive the epidural. So when my husband was so concerned about all this, what happening, he decided to ask for some help for me at that time. And the nurses looking for somebody, they brought a doctor that speak Italian. So as you see, people were not even close to know what I was coming from and what I was needing to help my baby delivery. This difficult experience motivated me to move from the computer engineering world and start working with the Latino community. And when I moved to Oklahoma, I decided to work for a Latino community agency. And I was able to partner with organizations like the National Alliance for Hispanic Health and Unidos Has to implement programs that help the Hispanic community understand how to access healthcare in the United States. And let me tell you that 25 years ago that happens, still working, trying to help the organizations understand how the Latino community works. So thank you for having me here today.
Claudia, thank you so much for sharing the experience. And this is what this panel is going to do today. It's those experiences and sharing that wisdom of all of those years working and helping the community. Let's go to Mónica.
Hola, buenos días. Gracias por la invitación. Thank you everyone for inviting me. It's such an honor to be right here with you, all of you. As you say, my name is Mónica Reina, Edgar, and it's such a pleasure to help the community. And one of the things that inspired me to be here helping was how can I do better for other persons? That was my question. Why am I going to Nashville and how can I help? And in order for me to help, I had to go through the process because, as you know, in Mexico and in our countries, it's very different how the system works. So for me, I had that feeling of being 18 years and not knowing how to manage, how to write a check or to pay a bill, nothing. So it was a good journey for me and my family to see and to learn. And now for me, now that I went through that road, I can help others. So my inspire here is to see the faces of people when we help them smiling, or when they come and say, I baked this cake for you, or, you know, those little things that for them, they are the world. And for me, it's priceless to see that. So this is my inspire every day, because you never know what's going to come from the door every day. Yeah. And that's a good experience to have. So, and one of the things that I love to do is to read. I love to fill the papers and to read and to learn. So books are the best.
Books are your best friend. They always teach you and never criticize you, right?
Right.
Adriana.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, and thank you for inviting me, 50 Forward, and it's an honor to be with you this morning. I am from Mexico, Oaxaca, the little town, and I've been working in Conexión Américas for 11 years. I joined Conexión Américas because I like the missions to welcome communities and create opportunities where Latinos can build, contribute, and succeed. My role in Conexión Americas is help the community doing taxes. And I've been doing for 7 years. I also a certified agent from the IRS, which means I can help people who cannot get their social security number in order to file the taxes. They can get the IT number, which is tax identification number. One of the things that I like to do, I'm very proud of my heritage, and I really love the celebrations, and especially in this time, I like to cook. So I take advantage and that we have everything in here. I make like my tamales, pozoles, enchiladas. So all this month I've been eating Mexican food, which I've been so proud of that. So another thing that I like to do is read. So that is me. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm an honor to be here.
Adriana, thank you so much for sharing with us. I'm already hungry once you mention all of those delicious things that you make, right? So Ada, what do you have for us? You're muted, Ada.
Hola, buenos días. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here with us. It is an honor to be accompanying you along with this distinguished panel we have here. I am a very proud Dominican woman, and I'm privileged to be here today. I personally have a story in healthcare, I guess, to tell. I went into social work because my aunt was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. And as a culture, I think that my family wasn't very educated in what was happening, and we didn't proceed quickly. And so it really affected the way her healthcare went. Her husband was in denial. My cousins were in denial for a while, and her disease progressed. And I owe a lot of my personality to my aunt. She was a very influential person for me, because when my mom came to the United States, I was only 2 years old. So I was left with this aunt, and she was the life of the party, very loving, treated me as her child, and gave me the best experiences. And so, you know, as I got older and as she got older and we were all here in the States, it was very hard to see her decline. And so I like working with older people because I've had a lot of elders in my life that have been very influential. And so if I can provide help in that way, then I'm doing the right thing. And what else? One other thing about me is, like Heido, I do have a hobby too. I play pickleball, and I'm very intense about it, and I love it. So if you don't know it, you should play it because it keeps you living a healthier lifestyle longer. So, you know, find your passion. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, for mentioning our older adults in our families. Our families are very close together. We're a very close-knit group, and it is very important, the role that we see doing within taking care of our own communities. And last but not least, Jairo.
Hello, everybody. It's really an honor to be here with you, listening to so amazing experience. I do have a short, I want to make it as short as possible because I've been here for almost 37 years. Can you imagine coming to Nashville? But that was actually I experienced the vivid, the difference between black and white. Some moments I was walking down the street and I was feeling like, did these people honestly have a mental problem, not a racist problem? Because I could see the separation. So, and there was no color in the city. Anything, the art, everything was pretty pale. So I left, I went to New York, and I found myself being back in Colombia. Everybody spoke Spanish there. and kind of hit me that I came to the United States, but I was speaking Spanish all the time. I needed to go to a place where I could learn the language. So I decided to come back to Nashville and embed myself in the community. But the situation got very difficult because can you imagine as an artist, and this idea that we had in America that there is a way that people think about the newcomers. So it got kind of hard for me to establish myself. So I felt like I was in a prison and I was mute and deaf because I didn't speak the language, but I was determined to learn. But my desperation was so crazy that I just decided to work for 7 months and go back to Colombia, buy a ticket and go back to Colombia. And then it got worse for me because I went to Colombia and I felt that, I went to the United States and I did absolutely nothing. I really, never in my life I had experienced, had the sense of failure. And so the problem was that I didn't have a direction. I didn't have a vision. I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how. The vision wasn't clear. So that kind of helped me because I went back there. I went to the museums and the places. But I have to say that the painting, the painter, the artist you have behind is one of my favorite Colombian artists. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, he's an amazing for me. I have all his books here. Anyway, but I went and realized I needed to have a plan. So I came back, and what I did, I just found a job in the School of Art. And that was the way for me to set a foot at the door. I was clear, okay, whatever I need to do, I'm going to work in the School of Art. I'm not going to anywhere else because whatever job I had kind of discouraged me, completely losing my sense of hope and ambition. So I went to Watkins Institute, the School of Arts, and I started working there, doing whatever they asked me to do. And then maybe a year or 2 years later, I started taking art classes there too, to be able to learn the language. So I used to communicate with my teacher using a piece of paper and a dictionary. So she used to write down the words in the paper in English, and I look in the dictionary what she was trying to tell me. And after a while, I was working at the library, giving books to the students without being able to speak the language, but I was so desperate to learn that I'm taking that job. So anyway, my life started evolving in the art community in a very interesting way. And I have to say that it's been an amazing ride, to the point that right now I'm grateful that I came to the United States, and I was fortunate too, to be able to meet people that embraced me then, because that's the heart of the American people that we really don't see. We see the politics or these other things, but the heart of the American people, they are eager to help when you have something to offer. Yeah. So Watkins kind of opened the door to me, and then the story began there.
Jairo, thank you so much for telling us your struggle. To the audience, you already heard from these fantastic panelists. We all have our own story. We all have our own path that we have been walking through. And something that Jairo just mentioned that is really important, and it will open the segue for this next question, is the heart of the American people, the people that we met along that path, and how it helped us sometimes without any kind of conditions. So my first question, and this is for Monica, Adriana, and Ada, is since you work on the social service in the Nashville area, how has the Hispanic community been affected by changes in Nashville over the last 5 years? What are some of the concerns and hope about where Nashville is right now? And what do you think in 5 years will look like and relates to the Hispanic community? So I like to pinpoint, so I'm going to start with Monica. Monica, what do you have for us?
I was thinking I was gonna be the last one, but okay. Well, that's a great question. You know, from 5 years till now, I see a lot of our new generation being more educated in all the social areas. I see the people our age still struggling in a lot of things on how to manage the day-to-day things to do, and how the younger generation is more open to know how to do and help the parents and help the grandparents. So I think this new generation, it will be more stronger on those areas, and they come to us, to Conexión, to all of these places to learn how to help them. I can see also, as we all know, the pandemic shift all of our programs, and I'm going to talk about Hispanic Family Foundation. We shift our programs in order for them to help them, and in that process, we learn very interesting things about what the community is looking for. How can they provide money-wise to the family, and how to for them to be more protective of the family as well. It has been sad to see how many of our community has been without a house, or without food in the table, or without a job, just because they were the first ones that were disemployed, and now they are looking away to help the family. So this is something that we are learning and that we are studying, and how can we help the new generation for new things to do and help the family.
Fantastic. Thank you, Monica, for that opening perspective. Adriana, what do you see from Conexión Americas happening in the past 5 years and coming up in the next 5?
Well, I think in the past 5 years, the community has had to endure difficulties and fears, but the good thing is that we have hopes on the years to come. Especially, we would like to have the equal changes on education, like in-state tuitions. We know that Dreamers and undocumented students, they've been paying as international students. And it's one of the things that I think, and we hope that this can be fixed, because a lot of students cannot, they just finish high school and they cannot continue the higher education. So it's one of the biggest hope. And one that Monica pointed about the housing, if we have like path to the citizenship, or now that we can get some kind of reform at the level, the federal level, I mean, more immigrants can be eligible for the economic benefits, such as the federal pandemic reliefs, which we know that a lot of our people, they could not afford last, in the middle of pandemic, they cannot get the 100% of the benefits. So we hope that all can be fixed. And concerns, what is one of the concerns? It's that one that it's the housing, it's increasing costs. Have been made it difficult to buy a home in Nashville. So with all these things that our community already have, and then high prices on the houses, that is the concern. And another thing is concern, it's like the immigrants will be overlooked if we continue basing our opinions on immigration and political affiliation. So we hope that all these things can be better. So we have more hope than everywhere.
A lot of challenges. Yeah, no, a lot of challenges and a lot of hope, and you have been touching several points that I like to highlight. And is, as Monica say, we have multi-generational, bilingual families who take care of their elderly, who have been here for generations, have been here for years, newcomers. It's a very mixed community what you have in Nashville, and the challenges and the hopes vary, but we see the importance on education, housing, right to work, the right to study. And Ada, what do you see from 50 Forward lens?
Well, what I see, Heido, is that 50 Forward has been working on building a bridge and establishing partnerships with communities. We're right here in the heart of the corridor of the Latino community. And there has been a lot of effort put into outreach, into getting to the community, and also allowing them to see that we are here and that we are a safe place. Because it is scary for folks to go into a new place and they don't know if they're going to be safe there. But I have been seeing that there's a lot more, 50 Forward has definitely vamped up this effort to get out in the community and establish partnerships and, communicate with other leaders in the community. We have been taking in clients that speak Spanish and just informing them and educating them a lot of the things that we are able to do for the community. And also at the same time, kind of provide a level of comfort and letting them know that we are safe. We don't need you to be, documented. If you need help and you need dental assistance, then we can help you find that, and you don't have to stress, because when you're struggling, that's the last thing that you're going to think about is, oh, I have this toothache that's been bothering me. There are other things to worry. So definitely continuing to build bridges, partnerships. I feel like we need more Latinos within these organizations to be able to help. I believe I'm probably one of two in the agency that can fluently speak Spanish. And so it would be very nice to have it in programming so that people can actually enjoy it and understand it and take part, because, once they start, we're very social people. And so once we start something and we love it, we're going to continue to come. And so if that's coming to the center and, exercising and, playing bingo and doing some dancing, then that's a behavior that is going to continue, which ultimately will be beneficial to our community. And so I see that is my hope, that we get more of that, and that more of the Latino and Hispanic community understand that we're here, that we're open, and that we welcome us.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that perspective. To our audience, you parents, you have the role: bilingual child, bicultural child, get them into social services, support the communities. Hispanic Foundation, the Connection Americas, 50 Forward, you guys are the trusted source of information for the communities. You are the frontline providers for several of them. So I applaud the work that you do every single day. And now that we were talking with Ada about services for the elderly, I want to ask Claudia and Jairo your perspective of how do you think about aging as a member of the Hispanic community? What are the needs? What's changing? What is important as you age in the Nashville area?
Edgar, I will probably start answering that question. And I think it's very difficult because we are in a state where the system is not designed to provide adequate bilingual, culturally appropriate services for the seniors. So it's going to be very difficult. I think Hispanic, Latinos, we are used to take care of our seniors at home, to offer them a very strong support system. They are part of our celebrations. They represent our wisdom, our heritage, our families, and they are the center of attention. And this is something that is being very difficult to offer to the seniors and the people that is aging here. I'm probably talking more about moving one of our elderlies into a senior home, senior center. So they're not prepared to do yet. I think there is a lot of work to do. I know 50 Forward is doing a wonderful job. Also ARP advocating for a lot of issues that refer to the senior population, but it's still a lot of work to do. And I think it's very important to continue
Fantastic, Claudia, and thank you for mentioning that. Having a network of support, having that concentration on family and friends who are always around you as you age, I think that that's one of the things that really impress us always, and it has been always what we rely on. But having a system, as you say, prepare to absorb and to provide the services needed for this community, I think that is one of the most important things.
And if you may add a little bit before we end, those young generations that are growing now, even though they speak the language, they are bilingual, they want the cultural component in whatever is offered to them. So I think we need to keep that in mind to continue the journey.
Fantastic. And Jairo, you have been here longer than, I think that longest than everybody else in the group. So what do you see those needs? What's changing? What is important as you age?
Right. Well, I have to say that I have to speak from the point of view of the visual artist. So, and for me, I understand what Claudia said, and I feel like we need more encouraged to learn the language and other things. But for me, I'm focusing more in not from the physical, but more from the emotional and spiritual and aspect, mental aspect of aging. And because they have been connected to my personal growth and maturity. As I age, I see the purpose of my work be more clearly relate to the future needs of the Nashville maturity multicultural community. So I feel like it's intrinsic in as we grow older to become more creative. That keep us, our mind become healthier and more peaceful and more joyful. But we are coming from places that maybe we are creative people, but the physical needs do not allow us to enjoy the aspect of being humans. So I have to go back at the beginning when I came here and what people perceive about my presence here. So my first instinct was to learn the language, learn the English language, learn the history of the community, the history of America. So that will get me tools to start carving a space in the community. It's very important for us to focus on that as we come and see how we can help the older community to be more courageous so they can engage in the overall community. I felt like for me, the goal was to not to segregate myself, but to go out and become part of the whole neighborhood and then the city and then the country. But I understand we're talking about people like my age and older, like my mother. She's completely isolated. But again, learn the language to be able to engage in carve space in the community. And I feel like now at this age, I feel like the need for myself to apply my skills and my knowledge to engage the community, to create community, bring people together, to somehow create more opportunities. And in doing this, I feel like for the people that we need to look into them, what are the gifts and talents? And when we're older, we're a little more freer if we kind of give the confidence to them to, I don't know if you in this moment come to me, maybe having some art program for grown-ups. We are here, with my wife, we are working in large scale projects where we bring the community in volunteers. We train people to learn how to create, how to make art, and in the same time contribute to build community. Like we did with Connection America, there was a very successful project where we brought immigrants, natives, and the international community. We put together over 300 people working together for almost over a year to get accomplished that. And I feel like it's in my heart how to just go and give. Feels like in this age, at this moment in my life, I feel like building a legacy that will inspire and motivate the next generation. And through art, we can engage all ages and all the whole community, not just us, but the natives too. I don't know if this makes any sense.
You did, Jairo, you did. Thank you so much, because you brought so many different points: mental health,
yes,
connection with the community, finding other medium to be able to connect with the community as you do through the arts. If you haven't seen Jairo's work with mosaics and getting the community together to work on these large pieces, and always keeping our elderly engaged, active, creative, participating, stopping that isolation that you mentioned at some point, because we are all productive members of the society. And I love the way how you use the art words, like we came here and we carve a little portion in which we're part of the society and we're helping to support it. And in that tone, when Jairo mentions about creating that space, that area for us, I know, and particularly from my own experience, trust is a big issue within the community. And I want to ask Adriana, Monica, and Claudia about how is that your agencies, your community-based service agencies, have established that trust with the community to be able to help these individuals. So Monica, I won't pick at you again at first. I'm gonna go with Adriana.
I think providing the best services we can for the community, and as Jairo said, to engage the community in the activities that we have. Conexión Americas managed different programs, and one of the programs is called Padres Comprometidos, which practically we help parents to be involved in the kids' education and be active in the school. So this program is been for about 15 years. It's one of the program that I joined 11 years ago when my daughter was in high school. So I involved in the program, and then I became facilitator, I became a volunteer, and later on I joined the staff, but I still volunteer on that program. I go to the schools and have the workshop for parents and show the system, because sometimes we have the idea that we bring from our country, it's totally different here. So parents, sometimes they don't know how to be involved, so they can take part and they can be advocate for their kids. So that is one of the programs. Another program that we have is the ESL classes, English classes, which right now are virtually, but we have like 3 levels of English, basic, intermediate, and advanced. Another program is like Negocio Prospero, where we can teach entrepreneurs to open their small business. And that program also is been for 10 years. So community, it's all involved. So that is one key to being active in the community, to host community services. And also, we don't offer all programs, but we can refer to reputable agencies. So probably they need something that we don't have. I mean, we can directly where to go. So that is the good thing and what Conexión America does. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for having all of those services, for having that to the community, because as you said, quality of the services, the voice is spread. If somebody knows that you're doing something good, you can know that everybody will start saying, here it is where you can find what you're looking for. And I'm going to Claudia now, because Claudia, you do something very related to the program that we have, the All of Us research program, because you try to get the community engaged in clinical research, which is extremely.
And I'm so happy that we're talking about trust, because it's such an important component to connect the communities. If there is no trust and connection between people and community and organizations and community and organizations to organizations, nothing happens. And how do we gain this trust? Due to mistrust, people is not participating into research, connecting with all of us. Due to mistrust, people is thinking about past experiences and not learning about all the changes after those negative past experiences with the research, and embracing again and to try to be part of the research. I think to be able to connect and establish that trust, I have a principle that is being present, showing up, listening to the community needs, delivering what is promised, and being ready to change the agenda you bring to those community meetings. As I shared with you at the beginning, for many years, I have the experience of working with a nonprofit organization in Oklahoma. Then I moved to Tennessee, started working for an academic institution. And as you see, academic institutions, with a lot of respect, had the tendency to think that everything that they bring in the agenda is what is the community need, but it's not like that. So part of my work has been work with the leaders of the organization and tell them, we need to go open to discuss with the community how is the project and how they want to get involved and how they can see the results. They have to be involved in the project since day number one. So our agenda, we need to change it. We need to bring some talking points and the idea definitely, this is the project, what are we going to do, how you can help us, because the community are experts in the same way how you are experts in research. So I think it's very important to work in those principles, being present, showing up, listening to the needs of the community, and delivering what you promise. I know the pandemic has changed the landscape of how to increase trust. I know I'm the one who thinks that being present one-on-one is the most important thing, continues being, but now during the pandemic, we have to create new ways to communicate with the people. And that what we have been doing virtually. We have to be careful. We have to lower the exposure of the community to the virus. We have to take care of the community too. So, but we have been creative, finding ways to continue that engagement and connecting with the community. And that's my suggestion to everybody in these panels and all the organization and the people that is listening to us. We need to see you at the table, and you need to make sure to include the Latinos and the African Americans and all the populations that are not heard into the conversation.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Very clear, to the point, excellent advice. Good thing, and I have to say it, as an all of us participants, you are a participant. You choose how much information you want to share. You get information back. So it is that kind of the new phase of how we are engaging communities to participate in research. And Monica, I know before you say, I want to be last. So what do you have?
Yeah, well, I think exactly as Claudia, I think that the key word here is trust, because trust is the bridge between our services and the community. And it is such a great time when we have our outreaches and our programs and we can communicate exactly what the people's needs are. I will say that here at Hispanic Family Foundation, for me, the first time I was in such a great opportunity to help the community was when the flood in March, I think it was March, and I went and I saw all these families and how their needs were and the confusion they had, and we could have the opportunity to help them and bring them to the foundation and just provide the services that we have. And I want to have the opportunity to say some of the services that we have here and how we have grown those programs in a great, better way. We do have a lot of civil weddings, and it is beautiful to see every Friday around 10 to 15 couples getting married here, and the families being, as you know, the Latinos, we come with the tío, tía, abuelita, and the amigo, and everybody's here just to celebrate those great moments. We have also the opportunity to enroll families to the health services if they meet all the needs that you have to have. We do also classes, high-set English classes, all of these things that we can help them. We have our Baila program, which is a great program that we can help kids from 3 to 18 years old, music, dance, Kung Fu. And most of the students that we have there, they are doing therapy because they have been in different domestic violence or sexual assault issues, and they come here to have therapy. So this is a way that we can help a little bit the community, but also our outreaches, such as the community baby shower or the health fair that we do. We engage with the community, and we just try to give them a little bit of happiness, of the things that are going on here in the foundation. And if I may, can I say my phone number for that?
Of course.
Our phone number is 615. I forgot my number. 615-665-2222. And you guys can call and we can help always.
And it's gonna be somebody's gonna put it in the chat box so for the audience to have it. Imagine that, the same place where you can get married, you can get service for your kids, you can sign up for karate classes, you can do all of these things. And this is the wonder of these organizations that are out there helping our community, is to identify the services, you listen to the community needs, and then you act on those. And in that tone, I really want to move to Ada and Claudia, because now we're talking about wellness and healthcare. And Ada, what are the barriers to health in the Hispanic community, and what are some of the things that are being done to eliminate them in Nashville?
Thank you. Yes, Heido. I think that I thoughtfully thought about these questions because I knew it was coming, and I think socioeconomic factors like low education I see as one of the biggest factors in barriers, because there's a lot that Hispanics don't know and don't understand, like what are your worker rights, right? So you get hurt and they don't think that they're able to get help or have their company, pay for them to get checked out. And so I think that's a huge barrier. Also just afraid if they don't have a document status that they're going to be reported, especially when they're the main breadwinner for their family. I think working in low paying jobs and occupations is another big barrier, because quite frankly, they probably just can't afford the out-of-pocket cost. And so seeking services or having, or being told that you need a surgery and then not being able to pay for that out-of-pocket cost can possibly cost someone, their life and their health, and how that unfolds. I think another thing that I see is that there's not enough faces that look like us. And so you go, and like Claudia mentioned, you know, back 30 years ago or less, it's very difficult. You know, we want to be able to trust. And so in order to trust, you need to find somebody that speaks your language and that looks like you. And we don't see that as often, not here. I grew up in New York City, and like Heido said, it was an extension of my country. Everybody spoke the same language. The only time I had it hard was, you know, in school when kids didn't. But just having more of us out in these fields, and by no means, I think that we as a culture are very tech savvy. 77% of Hispanics have smartphones. And if you know your family members, you know, they're on WhatsApp, they're on every app that you can think of, and they're very savvy. But we need to be in places where we can make a difference, you know, hospital, nurses, doctors, social workers, so that we can go ahead and try and start shrinking that barrier that we see within our community. Let's vote. That's another barrier. Like, you know, we need to really be thoughtful when we support someone. You know, what is their platform? Are they doing something to improve our stay here? Because we are contributors. And in 2040, 1 in 3 Nashvillians will be Latino. So that's what I see.
Fantastic. Well, a lot of opportunity, as you mentioned, a lot of degrees, a lot of professions where we will need more participation from our community. I will add to what you say. I have been working for several years in public health arena, and prevention is one of those things. As Adriana was saying and Monica were saying, we come to open businesses, we come to improve the life of our communities, and we focus so much on that to go ahead to carve that space that we forget about the most important asset that we have, which is our health. So prevention, to me, is one of the keys, and getting the communities and for everybody to understand that the healthier we keep our communities, all of them, everybody in the community, the healthier it is, the better everybody's going to be on the long run. So Claudia.
Thank you, Edgar. When I think about barriers to healthcare in the Hispanic community, I think about social determinants of health and all these things that stop people from getting the healthcare that they need, because they first need to bring food to the table, send the kids to school, have a roof where they live. And as everybody knows, Hispanics have a struggle with that because of language barriers. They cannot get the better jobs with the good pay, even though they come from our countries with the professional degree, and they struggle a lot, see? So before we mention all the barriers, let's think a little bit about what do they need to do before they pay for a health insurance to get the doctor. And talking about those barriers, definitely limited access to the health insurance is one of the big ones. Mistrust in the healthcare system and the fear created for the unfamiliarity with the services provided. It's hard for them to go to the hospital. Transportation is an issue. Fear because they have to travel maybe 30 minutes from a small town to go to the big city to get the healthcare that they need, and that creates a lot of nervousness. I was talking exactly about that with somebody, some Latino that was living in a rural area, and he says, you don't know how nervous I feel just thinking that I'm gonna get into Nashville to get my treatment. And sometimes that stops a lot of people. Some others problems is the low socioeconomic status that we all already mentioned. I will say that none of the benefits one of the benefits of the pandemic, and just moving a little bit further, is that all these barriers came to the surface. A lot of these barriers, I will not say all, but a lot of these barriers came to the surface, and we start seeing more how Latinos were affected for the pandemic, and getting more data about the disparities and the needs of provide more equal services to all the community. So that's one of the great things of the pandemic, and I have to respect a lot of all the people that has been struggling including myself through the pandemic, losing family members, and living with the COVID itself. So, but as looking into the healthcare system in general, having those, being able to tell the decision-making people, look at the statistics of the Latinos that are having difficulties having health insurance. Look at the statistics of the Latinos that prefer Spanish as a first language to communicate with the physician. How important is to bring more interpreters? How important is to bring more doctors, nurses, and personnel that speak a language? It is not necessary to look like, because the language is the main connector. See, and I want to show you my experience. I work extensively with the African-American community too. And it may took me 2 or 3 meetings to connect with them. But the main thing is what you bring in your heart and how you are open and transparent to talk and to work with them and to hear their needs, going back to the question about trust. So I think I'm happy that this is happening, that we have all this information. It's showing, and I'm pretty sure a lot of changes are going to happen in the next 5 years that we are trying to think about.
Well, and I'm so happy that Nashville have key leaders like you, yourself, representing the community, having the voice being heard, showing how things can be done to improve the life of everybody around you. And I want to ask the audience to start sending your questions. We're going to start moving into questions from the audience, because I just got to my last question. And this one is for all of you to give me an answer. And also for your recommendations, we already mentioned some about how can the audience, how can everybody who's watching this program show support, welcome the Hispanic community, welcome the new members of the Hispanic community, because as Claudia says, the rate at which the community is growing in certain states, not only Tennessee, but other states across the country, it sees an influx of the community members moving out, because we go where the jobs are. We go where new industry happens. We go where new companies are opening, because we love to work, we love to contribute, we love to improve the life of our own families. So let's start with Ada. What do you think, Ada, the audience could do to help and support our communities that keep growing in this country?
Well, I think that in general, like immigrants, we love this country, but we also love the country that we came from. So we want to pour that into this community where we live now, and we're very welcoming. You know, like visit a small business, visit a small restaurant, talk to the people, build those connections. You know, when there are things on a ballot, tuition equality, you know, read into that and see how that's going to overall affect a larger population. I think that you can show, you know, support by just go checking out, you know, the different entity, Hispanic Family Foundation, find out what are they about, you know, go to Plaza Mariachi, you know, check out what are these agencies doing, and how can I get involved? How can I help? You know, people that take English learners love to talk to natives, like they want to be able to put that into practice. So find out, you know, where can you pitch in? How can you help? Can you, you know, maybe tutor a kid? It starts somewhere, but just reaching out and seeing what can I do to, you know, make this better, because we're here, we're not going anywhere. We're just multiplying. So I think that those are some of the first steps. Just be welcoming, and you'd be surprised how, you know, much of a loving relationship and meaningful relationship you can get out of it.
This is fantastic, Ada. Really good first steps. I want to ask Jairo now. Any big community projects coming up? Any way the community can get involved?
Absolutely, yes. In fact, we're working in a large scale mural, and we would like to see if we can involve the community.
Yes.
So we can just build a relationship with them and kind of teach them or show them how they can create their own. So we have different techniques and tools that we use, we train the people here to do it. Some could be volunteers, some could be they're willing to spend more time. Maybe we can find a way to do some, pay them a little bit so they can learn. And at the same time, we can encourage them to start their own business, because in this country, entrepreneurial has a great potential. So we just need to feel like, to me, that encourage them to develop their own vision, and then kind of water that, nurture that, so they can go and walk on their own. So, but we have several projects here, and if anybody would like to know more about, you can check in www.jairoprado.com.
Once again, www.jairoprado.com. Jairo, muchas gracias. Thank you, Jairo, so much. Now you know, if you want to help Jairo with one of his projects, www.jairoprado.com. Ada, before I go away, if somebody wants to contact 54, or if somebody wants to contact you, say, can I volunteer? What can you do?
So they can look at our website. We also have really good opportunities in career-wise as well. So you might want to look into that, but 50forward.org. And my personal phone number, my office is 615-743-3489. And we'll go ahead and add that to the chat as well.
Fantastic. Let's go to Adriana. Adriana, Conexión América.
How can audience show support? I think be patient and kind in case of the language barriers issue, because we know that not many places have it like Spanish speakers. So another thing is the forming relations with the Hispanic organizations. Having that relation, I mean, they can know better the community because we are here. Also include voices, the Hispanic voices, in important conversations in the community. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Fantastic. Adriana, and if somebody wants to contact Conexión América to support you, to donate, to get
it's www.conexionamericas.org. Yeah.
www.conexionamericas.org. Fantastic. Monica.
Yeah, I think the way that we can support is volunteering. Volunteer with us, volunteer with another foundation, volunteer in your schools. There's a lot of need in the schools. There's people that are bilingual and they can help others. Help the families to help their seniors to dream, to go and get a career, not for them to drop school. That's a way that we can support the Latino community. There's a lot of things that we can do. You can also donate your time, donate your wisdom. I always say, I have the no already on my pocket. I'm going for the yes. How can we do something together that we can support our community? How can we give our ideas, our thoughts to others that doesn't understand the culture? And how can we grow the new generation? Because they are the ones that are going to be sitting here with all of us having a panel, and they will give their dreams or how we help. So I think volunteering or being in a place where they can help others, that's the way that we can support Nashville, our Latino community. Thank you so much for the invitation. It was great to be with you all.
Thank you, Monica. And of course, the information on how to contact the Hispanic Family Foundation. I remember phone number 615-562-2222, right?
Correct.
I got it. Fantastic. So any questions, if you want to support the Hispanic Family Foundation, please give them a call. Claudia.
Thank you. I think the advice that I will give to the organizations that want to support and engage the Latino community is to start from home, to provide unconscious bias training to the employees, to have open conversations about the Latino community, to remove all the stereotypes and and remove all the misconceptions about the culture and develop that appreciation for the culture. And I think that happens internally before they go out and start connecting with the community. I think it's a wonderful step because we all have our biases. We all have our feelings for people from other cultures that we have to remove. And the only way to remove those is to be able to learn more. Because remember, your heart, what you feel and what you think about the people, you reflected in the way how you treat that person. So I think it's very important to learn more about that. There is a lot of people with low literacy level. So make sure to create education information that is accordingly for the group of people. Make sure people understand, use graphics, may involve cultural pictures, where people can be recognized and can feel that they are talking to them. If we see more people and more community and family activities involved in those pictures, we feel that we are more part of us. So I think this is the main thing, and make sure to bring the information and to provide what we offer to them. And I think one way that how you can connect with me is through bicc.org. That's our website. We have a series of events, especially October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We have a couple of events, one in Spanish tonight for the Hispanic community, and also on Saturday for the African American community, and much more events that you can see in the website. And also Vanderbilt is hiring bilingual people. If you're interested, please go to My Jobs at Vanderbilt, and you can have, there is a lot of need for nurses, people in the cafeteria, receptionists, you name it. I will not end with the list here today, but there is a lot of opportunities for jobs. We need you.
So what a better way for the community to know how to get involved, having these panelists share their knowledge, the work that they do, the passion that they have to help the community. As the title of the session was, an intergenerational panel sharing wisdom and hope. And in that tone of hope, we have a question for the audience, and they want to know what gives you hope about living in Nashville as a member of the Hispanic community. Open to anyone.
That's a good question.
And while they think about that, and as Claudia was saying, and we'll add the website for Vanderbilt for jobs, or if you want to participate in research, one of the ways that I see us participating and is through the All of Us research program is an opportunity for me to have a voice in research, to learn about my own health, to support the new invention of treatments and medicines probably that affect my community in particular. And I think that is a call to action to all of us. And I really, at the end of the program, we'll put the website. We're end up with a video about the program so you can learn more about it. And you're lucky that 54 West Nashville is your key partner. So if you're in the city, if you're interested in like, what is this All of Us research program that you keep talking about, Edgar, today, you're gonna have the opportunity to learn about more. But going back to my panelists, so what gives you hope?
I will probably take the question, and I think what gives me hope is that in the last 5 years, I have seen a lot of organizations, not Hispanic organizations, interested in engaging with the Hispanic community. That gives me a lot of hope because that means that they want to learn and they want to work more with us. And also that 120 people is moving to Nashville every day. So we are having a lot of people from different states, from different backgrounds, from different cultures. So Nashville is becoming a more diverse community, which is wonderful because the more diverse, more restaurants, more opportunities for people to learn about those different cultures. So I'm more happy now than 5 years ago.
Excellent. Thank you, Claudia, for sharing.
Can I say something?
Of course, Jairo.
Well, what gives me hope is color.
Okay.
When I came to Nashville, there was no color. Everything was pale and pastel. And as I get older here in Nashville, I can see more color out on the streets. It's becoming very colorful. So that gives me hope and feel like the whole community is embracing us. When you see color, you feel you've been embraced. And I personally start getting to the point that I feel I have a lot more opportunities. That that's one of the reasons that I would like to see how can I train more people, maybe young kids, maybe adults, whomever, to engage in the art community. Because there is a great opportunity here in Nashville for the future. So that's maybe my last word to say, that color, it is very important because it can nurture our spirits. Like music, I see colors in music. So when I see solid color, it's like eating life, you know? The sense of joy and happiness, or could be any other feeling or emotion can be expressed. So before we were not allowed to manifest our emotions or feelings, but now we've been embraced. We're very emotional, colorful, happy society that we dance and do whatever we need to do just to feel this joy.
And with that note of color that Jairo just gave us, I'm going to pass the baton to Kelsey. Jairo, I want you to let you know from the audience, everybody is agreeing with you. Great perspective. They're happy to see the diversity increasing in Nashville more and more every day. So Kelsey, thank you.
Thank you, Edgar. And just wow, on behalf of 50 Forward, I would just like to thank each of our brilliant panelists today. Claudia, Monica, Ada, Adriana, y Jairo, muchas gracias. And a very special thank you to our friend and colleague, Edgar Hilrico, for your wonderful moderation of this special event. We are so appreciative to each of you for your time and your talents. To learn more about 50 Forward, please visit our website at 50forward.org, where you can also find information on the All of Us research program. And I would like to mention as well, we did have some technical difficulties with our live streaming of this event, but we have recorded this and we will be excited to post this on our Facebook pages. So be on the lookout for that in case you missed the live streaming of the event. So I believe our time has come to a close. I hate that it's over. I've just been so inspired, and I wore my color today, Jairo, for this event. So I agree with you. I love color, and I love all of the beautiful color represented on our panel today. So Edgar, I'll let you have the last word of the day and close us out with the All of Us Research Program PSA video.
Fantastic. Well, thank you once again, Adriana, Ada, Claudia, Monica, and Jairo. It has been my pleasure to have this conversation with you. I hope that at some point we can repeat this all in Spanish, just to have it on the record. It is fantastic. It is fantastic to see the kind of leadership that is in the city, the kind of work that you do every day to improve the life of our community and everybody around us. So I applaud you and commend you to keep doing what you're doing. And as Kelsey said, if you are curious about participating in health research, if you want to help support to build the largest biobank of data so we can advance new treatments, new medicines that are tailored for you as an individual, please check out the All of Us research program at joinallofus.org/50forward. And now we're going to leave you with a fantastic video that tells you the story about this wonderful initiative. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Somos una nación, un pueblo. Cuando recibimos el llamado a dar, nos unimos y descubrimos que nuestra capacidad de ayudar a otros no tiene límites. Lo que se encuentra dentro de todos nosotros es más que tan solo información, es vida. Es más que un estudio o una investigación médica, es visión, honor y compasión. Por las venas de los Estados Unidos corre diversidad. El siguiente gran descubrimiento se encontrará en todos y cada uno de nosotros. Lo que encontremos revelará misterios, curará a los enfermos y eliminará enfermedades. Estamos invitando a 1 millón de personas para que formen parte de este momento histórico. Todos somos diferentes y son esas diferencias las que nos guiarán a las respuestas para futuras generaciones.